faster VA claims, tackling the backlog, better healthcare, pretty much better everything, as explained by the VA secretary during his brief to none other than the President of the United States, which is President Trump, in case you're living under a rock there. Now, what I want to do is watch this short clip of the VA secretary's brief. And as always, I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I definitely want your thoughts down below. So here we go.
Mr. President, thank you. And I think one of the things that I want people to understand about the VA is we're part of the national security interests you have. And you've laid the groundwork for that. It's leadership and making sure that with the Secretary of Defense and myself, we take care of veterans on two ends. One when they come in and one when they serve and have earned the benefits that we have. And one of the things is if we're not doing our job on our end, then the recruitment and all goes down on the other end because we have a full spectrum. That's what leadership is about. What we found, speaking the last 4 years, is we found an administration that wanted to throw money and people at problems, but they didn't want to put leadership in it. They just put money and people at it, and we saw wait time stay the same. We saw issues of suicide rates, death by suicide, not change. We saw a homelessness issue barely go down. We saw disability claims skyrocket when you took place over 250,000 back dislodge, which we're already bringing down almost 40,000 so far just in the last couple of months. But we've also put back what you, and I was in Congress when this happened, and I was glad to see it. The Mission Act is back front and center at the VA. We're actually doing community care. We're actually giving the veteran the choice that they've earned and they deserve, whether they can get their VA care inside our facilities or in the community. It's their choice. It's VA care. We're going to give them the highest quality care wherever they want to go. Also, we're expanding out options for treatments and others for those that are new. We're experimenting and looking at new counseling ideas, all new drug techniques that we can help with PTSD, TBI, the things that are affecting our veterans right now. But also, we've taken the leadership to take people and bring them back into work where they're actually communicating. They're back in our offices. We put thousands of people back in. We're processing more claims daily than we were in the last little bit, hit 1 million before has ever happened, and we're actually bringing it down. And I've actually taken our deputy secretary, and he is actually having a strike force now to bring down that disability claim, plus our regular work that we're having done. We've also taken almost $300+ million and taken it out of contracts that we've all heard about so far. We were doing contracts for meeting notes and PowerPoints. And if our folks didn't know how to do meeting notes and PowerPoints, go online and learn yourself. We're not going to pay for it anymore. And we took $360 million and put it back into community care and also our health records management system that we have. We've opened 6 new facilities just in the last little bit so all the media who wants to talk about how we're hurting healthcare, we just opened 6 new facilities. By the way, thank you. You're welcome. As we go from that, we continue. We've also took $11.6 billion in ceiling values of contracts and terminated that we did not need, resulting in significant cost avoidance for the future, but also still maintaining the ability to take care of our patients and also our disability benefits. We've also gotten unity again. We did away with $14 million in DEI spending. We've ended gender dysphoria treatments. We phased that out. All directed the savings from that go to paralyzed veterans and amputees. We've also continued to work toward, as you've in anti-Semitism and also anti-Christian bias that we saw. The biggest thing, though, Mr. President, I want to state is you told me when you said for me to take this job, you said take care of my veterans. Well, we've done something in taking that step forward. The veteran is back first at the VA. The VA is not about itself anymore. We're not a self-feeding animal. It's about a service organization that takes care of one of the best that we have, and that's our veterans. And that, Mr. President, we're just getting started.
Thank you, Doug. How are you doing with the suicide rates?
We're getting, it's tough, Mr. President. That's something that we're looking at. This is something that we've had $588 million that's been spent over the last 4 or 5 years to be prevention, and yet the numbers stay at 17 or 21, wherever you want to have it. We're now opening that back up, taking in nonprofits. We're bringing in others who have things that are actually looking at. I worked with Secretary Kennedy and others on the idea of we're opening up the possibility of psychedelic treatment and others that give us an opportunity. We got to research it, make sure it's good, but it's opening up that possibility. And I think, again, veterans are understanding now that we're putting them first. When I go to these hospitals, they're actually coming up saying, thanks, we're back in where we need to be. And we're seeing a workforce develop. So suicide is going to come out. It's also going to take some transition stuff that your Secretary of Defense has been very helpful on. We've got to transfer them out of the military so they come to us better, but we're working on that.
Good.
All right, there you go. That's his brief. There were a few things that did stick out to me. The most interesting, I would say, is the deputy secretary being specifically tasked and apparently given some sort of strike force to look at VA claims on the backlog. And so the VA is tackling the backlog, at least as reported by the VA secretary here. I think give it a few months, we'll go have to look at the VA backlog numbers and see the dips and look at if it actually is being handled or not. But all of this is good news. Okay, and of note, he did mention $11.6 billion on contract ceiling values, which is being redirected to veterans. And then on the veteran suicide stuff, I should say unaliving so YouTube doesn't block me, but they're looking at psychedelic treatments, and I just can't help but think of the Sean Ryan podcast that the VA secretary did. So if you don't have stock in that, you might want to. I bet Sean Ryan does. Now, to be honest with you, I think there's only one hanging fruit that has been going unanswered. And it does concern me, and that's the federal cuts coming to the VA and what the result of 80,000 people losing their job. Let's just say it's half and say it's 40,000 actually happened. That's still a lot. And I think it's going to be more than half. Okay. So there's some questions that come to my mind. Are claims going to be slower? Who's being cut in the veteran healthcare sphere? Those are probably the two biggest questions I have that continue to go unanswered. And I think most veterans have those same questions or questions that would fall under that umbrella. And I think everyone's waiting for an answer to see. And unfortunately, it might be one of those things where we just have to wait 6 months, wait for a year, wait 2 years to see the fruits of the answers to those questions and the results of, or the outcome of those federal cuts. Anyways, I wanted to share the VA secretary's brief to the president. And as always, let me know your thoughts down below. And thank you very much.